Welcome to Purposely Peaceful. I'm your host, Jessica Rivera, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a quantum hypnosis practitioner. This podcast is where real life meets inner peace. You'll get honest conversations, practical tools, and soulful guidance to help you live with more clarity, calm, and purpose. Welcome back. This week, we are discussing what I perceive to be essential habits for inner peace. And no, they're not research-based. These are simply coming from the lens of my experience, from the things that I practice myself. And I do want to acknowledge the reality that life can be really hard. We have problems, we have pressures, we have things that are going on internally, and we become so used to it. Our mind starts going a million miles per hour, and it becomes the ego's playground. This negative dialogue that happens in our head, and it becomes hard to escape. This is part of why so many of us experience anxiety or depression at one time or another, because at times our minds can be relentless and it becomes really hard to manage. And usually, not on purpose, we get trapped in the drama that life creates, and the ego is all for it. It loves it. It's going to soak it all in. If you haven't listened to episode 11, I definitely encourage you guys to go listen to it and hear about how drama can look like in your life, because I'm not only referencing drama with other people, there are all kinds of different drama, at least in the way that I look at it. If you feel called, go check it out. But moving on, you know that saying, misery likes company? Well, I think that's kind of true. To be fair, a lot of people may not have much experience with their inner world being peaceful. And that's why I'm here waving the white flag, trying to say, hey, try this. Let's see if it helps. That's what every single episode is for. Inner peace means that your inner world, your mind, can be quiet at times. It can be free of worries and feel at ease, be relaxed, and be able to truly trust that all is well. You feel safe, so the world feels safe, and you can just be. No pressures, no worries. Truly be in peace. And although I can't promise this feeling, I can try to help describe it, and I can help you paint that picture in your mind. This isn't necessarily a permanent feeling. As you know, emotions are constantly changing, but we can tap into this feeling by doing the inner work, dissolving and quieting all of the conflicts that we have in our minds. And really, that's what this podcast is for, to show you all the different ways we can do the inner work. Every single episode that I have done is contributing toward that end goal. And imagine it, less mind chatter, less stress, and as a result, you get more peace. For some, there's this belief that the best years of your life, whenever you experience them, were as good as it gets. And that's it. This belief is doing more harm than good, because not only does it keep you stuck in the past, but it also doesn't allow for your highest potential. It's a self-imposed box, right? You created it. And if you believe that it can't get better, then that is in fact what you will experience. Your beliefs are that powerful. If you believe it's bad luck, then you'll probably have more experiences that confirm that you have bad luck. And people can stay in these thought loops for years, and in some cases, even a lifetime. But if you're listening to this, then most likely that isn't you in the first place. But I do want to stretch this narrative a little further, because it's all a game of perception. So in December, I got sandwiched in a minor car accident, and I was driving a rental car with my two youngest daughters, and my immediate response, right, like it happened faster than I can think about what was happening, but my immediate response was, we're okay. Stepped out of the car, looked at the drivers around me. They were okay. Immediately, I felt relief. I share this because old me would have been stressed. I would have been super anxious because this was a second car accident in the past 4 weeks, at least when it had happened. And I would have been stressing on the insurance claims, on how inconvenient it was, and that I had bad luck. But I chose, and it was really a conscious choice, even though it happened instantaneously, to feel neutral. That's what I chose. It is what it is. And I used to hate that statement. I'm going off on a side note here. My husband used to say this all the time, and I couldn't stand it because I was like, "Ugh, what does that even mean?" But now I get it. And so in that moment, I chose to feel neutral. I could have chosen to stress, but it doesn't align with my intentions to pursue inner peace. I want to highlight that you are in control of how you perceive tough moments. Yes, there are more severe challenges, but even in awful situations, I can still see the good, even if it's not in that moment. Sometimes it might be some months later. So, in hindsight, yeah, I can see the good in all situations. I'm simply reminding whoever's willing to listen that good times, happier times can be right now, not later. That inner peace is available to all who want it. I've seen firsthand in thousands of hours of sessions with clients from all walks of life. The most beautiful truth is that you can find peace, be a lighter, happier version of yourself. It is a fact, it exists, it's real. What I'm trying to say is that you have the freedom to believe what you want. You can see something as positive or negative, and it's going to shape how you experience your life. That ball is 100% in your court. Which leads me to the main point. The habits I'm sharing with you aren't tasks that you add to your to do list. These habits are more about how you can begin to embody these ways of being in your life. Most of you probably already do these, and I'm simply offering you a gentle reminder to practice them more often if it makes you feel better. And so, one of the first habits is to move in alignment. My interpretation of what that means is that you genuinely move throughout your day doing what you truly want to do. I'm a big fan of only doing things that you genuinely want to do. And if you're doing something that is becoming unbearable, then take it as a clue that it's time to consider that something else exists that is more in alignment with you. Learning to move in the direction that is aligned might be a bit out of our comfort zones. So ask yourself these questions. Do I genuinely want to do this? And then figure out what that response is. And the next question is, does this line up with my highest potential or my goal? And let those answers guide you toward the next best decision. Best decision doesn't always mean logical decision. It might mean my intuition is guiding me in this direction and I feel this is the direction that I want to move in. And I'm speaking very general here. You can apply this to all kinds of different situations. If you feel, yes, I genuinely do want to do this, and yeah, this lines up with my highest potential, then take that as a clue that maybe you should look into it. The next habit is to be in presence, to be in the here and now. No other moment truly exists except for the moment happening right now. When we are spending time in the past and reliving memories, or we're focusing on the illusions of the future, we are the furthest away from being present. That means that our mind has now traveled somewhere else and we're not here in the moment that we're actually living. We're checked out. We are going to do that because we're human. That's what we do. But the whole intention is to bring us back into presence by remembering, like, hey, I checked out there. Let me come back to where I really am, here in the real life. The truth is, we are going to ebb in and out of presence. But the takeaway here is to make it a habit, to return to it. Another habit is to have gratitude. Being grateful for what you do have is super, super underrated. Being in a state of gratitude is an amplifier, a signal that says, I appreciate this and I'm ready for more. I had somebody recently stop me from discussing gratitude. And after some reflection, trying to figure out what that was all about, I was reminded that some people, kind of like what I was saying earlier, get stuck in the problems, in what's not working, and they don't want to be pulled out from it. The ego says that doesn't work. Gratitude isn't going to change anything. But, and here's a big but, if you allow yourself to be grateful, even for, and I quote, bad things, unquote, then it will help. Even if you only believe it a little bit. The fact that we are here to live another day is amazing. That we have time to listen to something like this. And in my case, I'm even grateful for the hard moments because I learn from them. I don't always like the lesson or the experience, but having a gratitude practice keeps me focused on the good, on what's working. And when we're in this mindset, guess what? Everything always works out, even when things feel like they're falling apart. Because at some point you get to rebuild and you're stronger for it. You have more wisdom that you didn't have before because of it. And gratitude isn't just about making a list and being like, okay, well, I did it, I'm done. Gratitude is really soaking in the emotion of how nice it feels to be alive, how nice it feels to be loved, how nice it feels to love. It might sound a little cheesy, but it's true. If you can tap into that feeling, you're going to feel better. And the last habit that I want to talk about is learning to trust yourself. This one seems to be one of the harder ones, especially if you're a bit of an anxious person or you've felt that life has only met you with resistance and hardships. When you learn to authentically be you, you begin to make decisions with more clarity because you know who you are, you know what you believe, and you know what you stand for, and you know what you're not going to tolerate. It exudes a type of confidence, and you'll be able to trust that whatever decision you make is the next best choice. Learning to trust yourself removes the self doubt. There's more clarity. You're willing to take more risks that support your goals, that support your intentions. This is why living in alignment and trusting yourself go hand in hand. There's no perfect recipe for it, but it's designed for you by you. Because when you tune into yourself to see what is it that you truly want to do, your body and your mind will learn to respond with you, not against you. This is how you slowly build the ability to trust yourself and your own guidance system. As you go about your day and you focus on being present and appreciate the experience, even if it was a tough experience, you'll always land on your feet. Why? Because gratitude will ground you right back to what really matters, that you survived, that you overcame, that you succeeded. To be able to trust that you know you're going to figure it out. We don't need tasks and to-do lists to become this way. This requires conscious effort to implement this way of being and thinking. And my only hope is that something here inspires you to bring a little more alignment, presence, gratitude, and self-trust into your life. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.